This is episode 89 of the Wilderness Locals podcast. In this episode, myself, Ed Thompson, my buddy Tommy, Brandon Roth, and Anthony Klubi recap the February goat hunt that we just got back from this past month. This podcast is brought to you by Kifaru International. Kifaru makes absolutely bomb-proof gear that is second to none. Kifaru.net, folks. There are a few groups in North America that put boots to the ground, like the Wild Sheep Society of BC. Contrary to popular belief, Wild Sheep Society BC isn't just about sheep. The majority of their projects benefit a variety of ungulates and other wildlife. Check them out at www.wildsheepsociety.com. Great folks over there. I'm a Monarch member. You should be too. And as always, go check out our friends over at Just Shooting Arrows. Just Shooting Arrows is BC's premier archery shop. What's up, freaks?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, hey.
Oh, who's that?
Recording in progress.
What's going on, boys?
We're just about to wrap it up here.
Oh,
yeah, we just finished up. I thought we were recording. Yeah,
just got on here right after 8. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's
the way it goes.
Seems to be a bit of a theme, maybe.
Yeah, totally. Like trying to. We'll be up there by first light.
We were up there by daylight, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh man. So what did I miss?
Everything.
Oh, not a lot. right up to the goat.
Oh, nice, good. Right off. Oh man. So go ahead.
We're just talking like guns and meat and mountains.
That's like the main things. That's like all the main things that we care about, right?
Yeah.
We're all drilling over bear sausage here now.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking about bear hunting spring bears.
Yeah, it's coming fast, isn't it?
Yeah, the snow's going like crazy, man. Snow's melting fast this year.
Yeah, we don't have snow down here.
up here, it's sure going down again.
Yeah, well, it was just snowing a couple days ago, and already half the town bare lawns already.
Yeah, same here. We got
here in Smithers
4 inches, and it's gone plus a bunch more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so somebody has a like headphone style mic that's like rubbing against their beard.
I just shaved this morning.
It's probably rubbing on my shirt.
Okay, yeah, maybe like flip the collar of your shirt in or something. That'd be deadly.
I'll take my long sleeve off here.
Take all your clothes off and we'll do this.
Yeah, well, pants were optional. Why need shirts, right?
Yeah, right. Tommy showed up to this thing naked.
I thought that was required.
No, that's not like it's not part of the terms and conditions to Zoom.
Oh shit. Not again.
Not again.
I
had to look up what Zoom was. I wasn't sure. I heard the word Zoom. I never knew what it was, though.
Zoom. It's a Mazda commercial.
Well, something like that, yeah.
Oh, man. So I think the first thing we should maybe do here is kind of go around the I don't know, table, I guess, and just kind of let everybody know who we are. Everybody knows me, so maybe we'll start with Brandon. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm Brandon. Live in northern BC, close to Anthony, close to Tyler's LEH area. So that's how we kind of started chatting on Instagram and met up from there. Been hunting the last 6 years. I'm 33 now, so I started kind of late, but hooked, and I'm going to be doing it forever.
Yeah, definitely. And then let's go to Anthony here. I kind of just want to make sure everybody, hears your voice and knows who's who while we're going here, because once we start talking, it'll be tough. But
Yeah. So, Anthony here, and I was pretty much born with a rifle in my hands. So, hunting's pretty much a lifestyle for me, and I'm up in northern BC as well. I spent basically my whole life up here, short stint in northern Alberta as well, but mostly moose and elk in my hunting career here, but kind of starting to get into the mountains a lot more here since I've moved up to Smithers here, and got that bug hard and can't get away from it.
Deadly. And then let's go to my I was gonna say my young friend, but you're older than me. old Tommy gun there.
Yep. My name's Tommy. Live down here on the south coast, fairly close to Tyler, I guess.
Yeah.
About an hour away.
I like to refute that because you live right in the big city.
I don't live right in the. I'm outside the.
You're
big city.
basically in a condo on Davies Street.
Basically.
Not quite. Okay, but
not quite, almost. But yeah, definitely the newest hunter of the group here. I've only been hunting like I don't know, 2 years maybe.
Yeah,
a year. Shot my first buck last season, which is pretty cool. Definitely hooked, and Ty, you've been like huge in helping me out here. So looking forward to many more.
There you go. Okay, and then last but like the opposite of least, we got Ed.
Yeah, well, kind of like Brandon and Anthony, but both. I live up north here too, northern BC, and been just hunting, trapping, fishing my whole life with the family, and just basically born into it. And when I seen you were kind of poking around at a northern BC goat hunt, I didn't get a draw this year, so I figured if I could squeeze in on a hunt somewhere, I should try to get my foot in the door. And it didn't take much arm twisting to get to get some plans rolling.
No, I know. Ed, we started chatting like, I don't know. I think a couple of weeks after my son was born, I was like basically living at the hospital because he's in the NICU, and
right.
You were like, are you going to make a run at this in February? And I was like, well, I don't know if I can put together the right guys, and, I don't want it to be too dangerous, yada, yada, yada. And then you and I started talking. I was like, okay, Ed's the right guy.
Yeah, I'm game. I've done a little bit of winter mountain stuff. I'm nothing extreme by any means. That's probably why I've never been successful at it, I suppose. But I get out there and have a good time, and watch some goats and put some snowshoe tracks in the snow. And it's fun. It was a blast to get out there with some new guys, and because I've always done it, just in the family or by myself. But to get out with you guys, it was a really good time for sure.
Yeah, it was a panic. So before we get too far down the rabbit hole of kind of our experience and how it all went and how our relationship all kind of grew together through some suffering, kind of one thing I wanted to touch on is like this whole February goat hunt thing, right? Anybody can do it. You can go hunt February goats over the counter in BC if you're a resident. If you have a draw, there's even more incentive to go. But I think the thing I would really like to kind of point out before we make too much light of it is it's the type of hunt that if you're not prepared, or if you don't have good guys that know what they're doing, or like are extremely risk adverse, it's the kind of hunt that you make a couple substantial to not that substantial mistakes on, and you might not go home, right?
100%.
Yeah, stuff can turn sideways pretty fast,
Yeah, and so that's sort of I wanted to put that right at the front end on there as a little bit of a disclaimer. Like, I don't think, the other day I did that podcast with Wasey, and I said I don't think it's the kind of hunt that you could actually, in good conscience, say like, hey, you guys should do this. It has to be like a personal choice, and the people have to be willing to A, accept the risk, and then B, take the time to either learn what they're doing or go with people that really know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's and getting out there and asking questions. Every year it seems there's more and more people doing it, So with that, there'll be more experiences being shared too, right? What people did wrong, what they learned, what they used. And that's what I've been noticing the last few years too, is a lot of gear review stuff for winter hunts, and so there is going to be information out there, but the best way to learn is to do it with someone that's done it a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just, I really just didn't want to make, like, I know we're going to have fun on this podcast and we're all going to joke around about how like Tommy lost a toe and whatever. But at the same time, I just kind of want to make sure guys realize and going into it, like, you can't just pack up your normal ruck and your puffy jacket and head up into the hills. Like you won't get off the mountain.
No.
Right. So, well, there you go. That's sort of my front end warning to it. So
disclaimer.
Yeah. A little disclaimer action. So, I mean, we're basically 5 guys. Me and Tommy had hung out before, and Ed, you and I have some mutual friends and stuff like that. But other than that, we're basically 5 strangers that met up in northern BC to go chase some goats.
What could go wrong?
Totally. Yeah. Right. No, it was wicked. So me and Tommy met up at my place here, and then we headed up. We rented some sleds, which kind of turned out to be a bit of a disaster.
Got the job done.
Yeah. We had
they did what they had to.
I'm not sure they did. That sled that you had, you might have been better off like just getting
hoofing it.
Yeah, either hoofing it or just having Ed double you, man. That thing was just a piece of shit.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. We should have had Tommy just on the back of mine and just rolled, but that was a good experience for Tommy though. He got some riding experience out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yep. First sledding.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like that thing. Like, it was funny. We were on like day 3 or whatever. And Ed, you like pull up on this thing. You're like, this thing's gutless. I'm like, what? You're like, hop on this thing. You can't get it on the pipe. So like I hop on Tommy's sled and rip down the road a bit. And like, anytime you go to like get it into the power to like bob through a little dip or like, we kind of rip through some deep snow to cool it off and like jam on the gas. There's just like, like just dies. Like, fuck, I didn't know this whole time. We were calling Tommy Speed Demon the entire week, thinking the guy's just like pussy.
I'm trying, guys.
We're just like, we didn't know the guy's running on one cylinder.
I don't think Tommy knew either, right? Because he never rode a slow sled before. He probably knew there was something wrong, but he didn't know it was as bad as it was. Maybe
he thought it was him.
Yeah, I assumed it was me. Yeah.
And so I rent these sleds in these trailers and this trailer, and we get up there. It's supposed to be a tilt deck trailer, and it's just like an RV that somebody is like just turned into a flatbed, like a camper trailer. It's just a complete piece of shit. And then I think me and Brandon broke the lock off the front of it by accident.
I think you just kicked it and it broke off.
I think it was frozen up in ice there. I think that was the second night.
Just exploded.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like right on the front end. I think if I was going to do that component of again, I don't think I would rely on rental equipment. I think I would just go buy a sled.
Yeah, and like your ramps that he gave you didn't even work because of the carbides on the skis. Like you couldn't even go up the freaking stupid ramps.
Yeah, well, we didn't have ramps. Remember, he didn't give us ramps. We were using heads.
Oh, there were Ed's ramps.
Yeah, we didn't even have ramps, man. We were gonna have to bench press those things off the trailer.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What a great rental company.
Well, the company shall remain nameless, but it makes for an interesting story, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, no, that was wicked. It was funny. Like I hadn't been on I'd been on a sled very little ever, and like we hopped on that thing, and like I think Brandon, you were like, "You ever ridden a sled before?" I'm like, "I'm not sure," and just like wide open down the road. So fun. Super cool though.
They're fun. To me, they're kind of like a love-hate thing. Depending on how much you get stuck throughout the day, it will make you hate them or love them.
Yeah. Well, that's the truth, man. I spent half my time digging Ed out.
Yeah, it was tough going, tough slugging.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got some shoveling lessons there.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah. Lots of ski pulling.
Right. Yeah. Apparently, so I was talking to my buddy that's right into sledding, Ed, and he's like, you guys need this thing called a slingshot. It's like, it's got a bunch of bungee cords in it and 2 hooks and a big handle.
I've heard of them.
Apparently you can just reef a sled right out of the freaking ground with one of those things.
Really, eh?
Sweet.
I've heard of them. I never used one though.
Well, you're probably not an idiot like me and Tommy getting these things buried all the time.
Well, I always pack a Kummel. I got a Kummel hung in mine.
What's that, Tommy? What'd you say?
I think you got stuck a lot more than I did. Just saying. Well,
that's because yours wouldn't dig a hole. It wouldn't make any power. You're on like a 6.5 horse Honda. Oh man.
Yeah.
Too funny.
No, I think by the second day of sledding, we definitely had mitigated the hours we were spending digging sleds out of the ground, eh?
Oh yeah.
That one day was pretty bad.
The first day was tough. The second day was second day you guys did good. Yeah. I think I was the only one that got stuck the second day on your sled.
That was hilarious. I don't know. Did you take a video of that, Tommy?
I wish I did, but no.
We were going up to the glassing knob on the south side, Brandon. We're going through this super deep stuff that like nobody had been through in a long time, right? And Ed pulls up to this thing. He goes, I don't think my sled's gonna make it through it. Like Ed's riding like a Lee Trail utility type of sled, right? And I was like, well, just hop on mine, rip through there, because like I was on like a big freaking mountain sled, like completely the wrong sled for the job, but it was fun. And he's just like, I'm like, take it through there. He's like, oh yeah. Just like wide open on the throttle. Just like straight into a snow wall. Like just stop dead.
Yeah, it was a little bit wind drifted in there and it wasn't as soft as it looked.
I'm pretty sure me and Tommy both made the oh shit face. It was pretty funny.
When we got the inReach from you guys saying you were on your way back, I was actually like very surprised that you guys went in there so fast. I thought it was just going to be a big stuck fest.
No, that way wasn't bad, man. It was the way the day before that we went and like we were just getting just rocked going through those DX.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I knocked myself out almost a couple of times.
I have a video.
Handlebars.
Oh yeah, I have a video of Tommy just hammering on it through a deactivation, and then his bino harness hits the kill switch. And you almost go over the handlebars. It's amazing.
Yeah. Using the ELs as padding.
Yeah,
right.
That's not what they're for.
I heard they have a good warranty. Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like going into this hunt, right? Brandon, you had been scouting for us quite a bit. You had been back there a few days, and then Ed, you had gone up there the Wednesday before we were in there on the Friday or the Saturday. And you had glassed up some, not like crazy billies, but like, some adult billies anyways, right?
Yeah. There was definitely the 2 there over on, the Cock Rock, I think you named it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we got some pictures. I got some pictures of them from the Wednesday there. And, but they were nowhere to be seen when we decided to go back. Yeah.
So kind of make it clear sort of what my goal was I just wanted to shoot like a good representation of the species and just like a just an adult billy. I wasn't trying to shoot a booner or anything like that. I just wanted to shoot a good representation. Even though I had seen some really nice goats in the summer in there, I kind of just thought in February, a good billy, like a good adult is the plan, right?
Yeah, definitely. It'd be any adult's good goat in the wintertime. Yeah, for sure. So then, kind of what our plan was going in there is we were going to basically, there was 4 or 5 different fingers that we knew we would be able to get up in the winter with the snow load. And then there was the one big valley that we knew was going to be like, it was kind of, I think we all kind of knew in the back of our minds that's like where we were going to see the big goats, but we also knew that was where we wouldn't be able to go just because of avalanches and stuff like that, right? It was the sketchiest place of the whole mountain, probably. Yeah. There's a reason why the goats are there, probably. But it definitely, it was one of them ones where if you wanted to do it, you were packing up for a night or two and you were going to go do it. Hey.
Yeah.
And the conditions once you got there might have been so bad you just got to turn around and go back. You just don't know till you pound that day or two back there, right? And
so kind of our plan though was to kind of get into these fingers to start with and glass them, right? And so we had kind of, as a group, we had kind of named our hit list billy that we were going after. We kind of named him Blippy. So we Brandon and Anthony and Ed, you guys were kind of down on one side, and then me and Tommy headed up the other side, and we started doing our glassing, and we had radios, but for some reason me and Tommy didn't end up with one, and you guys had all the radios. So I put go ahead.
Did that radio show up? Did someone have it?
Yeah. No, I have all 4 now. It's just,
I thought one was left in the mountain.
No, Brandon.
I was feeling bad. Okay.
No, Brandon had one and Ed had one, but they were sitting beside each other.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we all split up, and I think you boys found a bunch of goats that morning, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We glassed up, I think it was like 9 or 10 right away.
Yeah. It's a pretty sweet spot. Like that mountain is just like I don't know what it is about goat hunting. The stoke factor of just watching goats is like, it's pretty much enough. Like even if you don't shoot one, you're like immediately fulfilled,
Yeah.
That first day pretty much made the trip, right? Like, not having a tag, it didn't matter, but, that first day was pretty awesome sitting there. Wow. We had a pretty good show for quite a while with them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, and then me and Tommy went up that side finger to kind of look on the other side of it, on kind of the whatever southwest facing side. And, right away, I found a goat that I thought was potentially Blippy. And so I tried to get on the radios to get Ed, because Ed was kind of the yes man on the trip. Like if Ed said, yeah, we were going, right? And so I left Tommy on there, and I boogied down and grabbed Ed. And then by the time we got back up there, the goats had kind of moved around, and Ed was like, that goat? I was like, I think so. And you're like, no, man, that's just a big old nanny. And I was like, okay, maybe that's not the same goat. And I was like, sure I had eyes on Blippy, right?
Well, and it turned out it was the same ghost that we were watching in the spot that we were at, eh?
Yeah.
Just from a different angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a couple nannies, and I think there was a couple 2-year-old billies in there too. Wasn't that the group that?
I think this group, I think, I'm not actually sure if it was the same group or not, because we had like 7 or 8 on our side, and you guys had 6 on your side, right?
Yeah. Right.
So I don't know if they were the same group, or if they were maybe 2 groups mixing together, or what it was, right? It's so hard to tell once you're kind of crossing those fingers, because it looks completely different, eh?
Yeah, totally.
You're kind of covering a lot of country quickly when you're moving around on sleds and hiking around and stuff, eh?
Yeah, well, those fingers started to almost look alike after looking at each one a bunch of times.
Right.
And then going from north to south, east to west, because we were traveling quite a bit around there. So there was a lot of direction telling and yeah. So that first day we saw a pile of goats, and we kind of wrapped up the first day as the sun was going down. And we had like really good weather the first day there. It was like very mild, nice and clear. I don't think we got fogged in at all on day one, did we?
Nah, it was just lifting as we rolled up to start glassing there, and then I don't think it fogged in again at all that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty good. And I mean, that was Tommy's first day ever seeing goats.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
Who spotted the first goat? Wasn't it Tommy or was it you, Anthony?
That was me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You should have that was like an underhand pitch for Tommy. But yeah, Tommy spotted the first one on the trip.
No. That was my one achievement of the trip.
Yeah. I remember you spotted that goat up, and I like didn't see it, but I had also just jumped off my sled and I was neck deep in snow at the time. Like, hey, can I get a hand?
No, there's ghosts.
Oh man, it's not like post holing in that snow up there. It's like you take a wrong step and you're like literally neck deep, eh?
Yeah. Even on the trail, right? Like step off and you're right to your hips and in snow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's brutal. Hey, I mean, maybe we should touch in or check in on this, but I think people might be wondering how Tommy got brought along as like a kind of brand. I don't want to say brand new hunter, because you're not a brand new hunter.
Pretty close.
No, you've killed a deer and you've been obsessing about hunting for a few years, and so I guess what happened is me and Tommy started talking last year. And we started kind of working out some stuff so you could kill your first big game animal, right?
Yep.
And then lo and behold, I found out that Tommy had some like expedition and like glacier travel trips under his belt, which is pretty useful for what we were doing. So even though you don't have a ton of hunting experience, you had kind of some experience that was more applicable to this than hunting experience would be anyways. So
yeah,
I figured I would just clarify for some guys that you're not like a dude I found in a Cabela's parking lot or something.
Well, you just went through your Rolodex and like everyone said no until you straight from the bottom of the barrel.
You know what's funny about that is I didn't ask anybody to come on this thing because I was like, I didn't want to ask people and then them like not be 100% in, you know, like there was a couple of my buddies that were kind of on the fence about it, and I could tell that they were on the fence about it. So I was like, don't worry about it. No, it's all good. Right. Like you want people on a hunt like this that want to be there. 'Cause like when the going gets tough, it's going to be real bad. Right.
Yep. No, for sure.
Anyways, yeah. So I didn't want folks to think I met you in the archery section of Cabela's or something like that, right?
Yeah, I don't see those.
There you go.
There's a gun section.
Bastard. Fair enough.
Watching you on those snowshoes, it didn't look like it was your first time on snowshoes either.
Well, that's just it.
Yeah.
You were an animal on those things, up and down. Yeah,
those things are pretty cool, man. Looking forward to getting back out on those.
His feet fared very well in them.
Yeah, straps are too tight. Yeah,
is that what it was?
I don't know.
So, I mean, that kind of basically wraps up the first day. Basically, we did a bunch of running around the mountains on the first day there, just getting eyes kind of all over the kind of the objectives that we had laid out before we ever went on the mountain there. We kind of knew like these fingers are what we want to look at. this is kind of where we saw some adults over on Cock Rock there. And, we were kind of like, we can look in the main valley, but like we kind of knew like there's a giant terrain trap in the bottom of the valley, and it would be pretty nasty avalanche terrain to go in there this time of year. So we were I think we were on the fence, right? And I think Ed, you and I had said, like, if we're going to do that, like we should just like get glass on there, find a goat and go.
Yeah. Well, with the time frame we had, it was that was almost the option right from the get-go, as if that was the case. So you almost had to do it on first day 2 or even 3. Yeah. For the time frame we had. And on the last day when the weather was moving in, it was pretty evident what the next couple of days were going to look like too, I think.
Yeah, I think watching the weather after we left, it was like there wouldn't have been any glassing or much hunting going on. It would have just been smashing through trees is basically all we would have been doing,
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think what kind of the thing that happened a little bit on this hunt is we got back there on the first day and we just saw so many goats right out of the gate. We were like, okay, there's going to be a mature billy here somewhere. There's just so many goats, right?
I was surprised that, there wasn't, because we were seeing good goats for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like, we were seeing lots of mature nannies, and we were seeing some young billies and stuff, and just nothing that got the Ed Thompson nod.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't think, I think first, I've stalked a lot of goats and had to turn around once you got there, because you get a closer look and you realize what it is. Right. And I don't know, maybe might have saved us a walk or two is all.
Yeah. But, I think too, like I said, going into this, like, I don't really care about just shooting at all. Like I would rather have the experience and go out there with everybody and have a good time and learn a whole bunch of stuff and not die, than shoot a goat that I regret shooting. Right.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and after we went through a few of those photos and some age looking, and you got a little bit of a look at what we might have been looking at up there. Right. And it's not like they're illegal billies to take, because by rights they've been pushed away by the nanny, but they're still with the herd. Right. But they're not, they're past that 2.5. But they're not the right goat to take either. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, to give folks some context here, Ed, you're a guy with a 13-year-old billy, right?
Yeah. Well, I see 11. He got aged at 13 when he got 12, when he got inspected. But through the game camera, the goat camera stuff, I've got so many goats up close that you can count rings on that, I've got a pretty good idea on just the growth patterns. The same way with sheep, right? I don't know sheep nearly as well as I know goats, but the main growth pattern in the first 2 or 3 years are pretty distinctive in a goat, and you can get a pretty good idea of what you're looking at. And if you got to try and guess if it's a billy or a nanny, chances are it's either too young to go after, if you're looking for a respectable goat. All right. Or maybe it's just a big nanny. There's some good heavy nannies out there that they trick me. The Goat Alliance put on these tests all the time. And there's a lot of them out there that I get wrong, because it's tough to tell, from certain angles, and unless you get right up close to them and get to watch them. Right.
Mm-hmm, yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, that's sort of what I'm saying, right? Is like, you don't want to shoot a 2.5-year-old billy just for the sake of shooting a 2.5-year-old billy. I think those mountain goat herds are the way they are because I think a lot of folks are kind of selecting older billies when they can, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Our goat herds up north here, I think for the most part are doing pretty good. Yeah, it's just something to be said about taking a mature animal, right?
Yeah. So, what do you, Anthony and Brandon, what do you guys think about the goats you saw on the first day there?
Well, they're hard, man. Like, we were about 1.5 to 2 kilometers away from them when we were glassing them, something like that.
Yeah,
and it's tough, man. Like, I don't have near the experience Ed does. I've kind of only been out chasing goats and looking at goats really for the last 4 years, and honestly, most of my experience hasn't been that up close to them, and it's difficult, right? Like, I look at all those classifications that the Goat Alliance puts up too, and it's just tough, man, when you don't have the hands-on experience and the time. And they're super cool to watch. But yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah. For me, quite honestly, like, having been there in August, like, I was telling Ed, like, oh man, I'm super confident in my aging and my sexing of goats. Cause in the summer, man, you watch a goat for a couple of minutes and you're like, it's Billy, it's Nanny, whatever. Right. It's like in the summer, it's not that hard, like the big nuts hanging off the thing. 10 minutes later takes a leak. You're, for sure. Right. That's a Billy.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, really, there was only the one that me and Ed there saw take a leak that we knew for sure it was a young Billy. Yeah. And then there was I think it was actually the very first one that I had spotted there the first day that, I kind of had self convinced that it was another younger Billy as well, or Billy in general. And, Ed wasn't quite sure, and I don't have near the experience to try to argue with that. Right. Like,
yeah. And I think exactly what Ed just said here a second ago rings super true with mountain goats, as far as I can tell anyways, is like, if you're not sure if it's a Billy or a Nanny, it's probably just a young Billy, right?
Either that or a big nanny too, right? not even a big nanny. It can be any nanny. Yeah. But when you got to try and distinguish between a Billy and a nanny, it's not giving you, like, especially when you got to hike up there in the wintertime. Yeah. Right. That's a full day go, and you might be sleeping up in the snow up there to find out that it's not a goat that you want. Yeah. Normally, if you see a Billy that's 4 years older, you're gonna know it's a Billy just by the features of the horns mostly, right? Yeah. But the winter definitely it makes it tougher with the extra hair on the head, because it covers up a good couple inches of that bottom horn too, eh?
And not only that, man, like the body shape with that hair on it, like when you see a big Billy in the summer, and I've seen a few big Billies in the summertime now, right? Even here in the Chilliwack Valley, glassing up goats there, it's like my favorite pastime now, right? But like, you glass up a big mature Billy, and you're like, it's like, boom, like that, dude, that guy's jacked. Like, it's a white moose with little black horns, and then you see a Nanny, and they're like, they're way more slender and feminine, and their horns are different too, obviously, but at the same time, it's like even just body shape. But when they get that hair on them, like that, like your like ability to kind of like just get an overall feel for a goat kind of goes away.
Yeah, it makes it tough. I've noticed in the winter, actually, if you can see them stretch, like not necessarily a Nanny or a Billy urinating, but like them just get out of bed and stretch, you can a lot of times you'll see that big hump on the back of their shoulders and their neck of a Billy. Yeah. Like you'll see in the summer, right? But if you can see them stretch, a lot of times that'll give you a good indicator on what you're looking at as well, especially in the winter time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And like, you hear people talk about, oh, he's a big haired up Billy. And you kind of like, if you never watched goats in February, you kind of like, it's hard to explain what that means until you're actually on the mountain, and like the wind is whipping past them, and there's like the hair is doing the wave, and like, it's freaking wild to watch in person.
Oh, I'd love to have my hair to like just to feel it sometime, to see how long it actually is. You can only imagine how long the hair is because you can see it through the scopes, right? Yeah. But until you actually get to feel it. It's a big coat.
Yeah, super, super cool. I'd just like to have hair in general on my head, but that's a whole other discussion. Bald bastard. So yeah, that was kind of day one. Like we were all over the mountain, we were glassing, we found a whole pile of billies, and I think it kind of I don't say a whole pile of billies. We found a whole pile of goats, lots of nannies, lots of kids, quite a few probably young billies, but nothing that really jumped out at us as like, let's hike all the way up this mountain and put a play on one of these goats. Cause there was nothing that really screamed like, I'm a big mature male. Like we didn't have that on day one, but I think what we had going out of day one is we're like, there's basically no reason to push the envelope into the big scary valley of death. Let's keep working on the parts of the mountain that we can see. And hopefully we turn one up here tomorrow, right? That's kind of how we finished up day one, I think.
Was it the first day that Auntie and I went back into those cup blocks and glassed into the horseshoe there?
Yeah, and you found Blippi. Yeah. Was that the first day or the second day?
That was the second day. That was
right at the end. No. Oh no, sorry. The end of the second day, we ended up snowshoeing.
Oh yeah,
that was just before dark on the first day. Yeah, but we only saw him for a minute and a half, basically long enough to see there was a goat there, and then he disappeared. And
so Tommy and Ed were over on Cock Rock trying to relocate those billies that Ed had seen on the Wednesday before, and I got like the fuzzy message from Brandon on the radio, like, we got eyes on Blippi. Like, what the hell? And we were like, I think an hour from last light. And like, by the time I like turned around to Ed, he's like starting to sled. Like, so we were on the way to go see Brandon and Anthony there, eh? And we cruised over there, and you guys were looking into the big scary valley of doom.
Yeah, and I think the snow was rolling in there too at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the one spot we could see much on the first day. Like, so we sat up there for probably last hour and a half, 2 hours of light, and I don't know, we maybe got 5-10 minutes of real good glassing there. And we didn't see that billy till the last 45 minutes, or that goat for the last 45 minutes of light there.
Yeah. And to kind of set the scene a little bit for folks, I had taken my avalanche safety training before we went on this trip because I figured somebody should have it, right? And looking into that valley where you guys saw the old Blippi there, it was like a hardcore do not go. Like,
it was pretty much no go.
Yeah, it was basically everything that was described in the AvCan report for the area on one side of a mountain, like instant death,
Yeah.
So naturally, that's where me, Tommy, and Ed went the next morning. No, I'm just kidding. So the next morning, me, Ed, and Tommy went on that side of the valley and tried to glass kind of around the corner there to see if we could pick up some billies on a side of the mountain that we hadn't seen yet. And if we did, we were just gonna like send it, like just make a play right then and have you guys catch up to us, right?
Yeah.
So the second day, basically we had about, I don't know what, an hour of good weather.
Yeah, maybe.
If that, yeah.
And we got a really good look at the kind of big south facing wall that we thought was just going to be absolutely off the chain. And it was like the avalanche run out zone from hell.
Yeah, there was no goats around over there.
Yeah.
I think for good reason, probably. Hey.
Yeah, if there was goats, I'm sure they're in about 100 feet of snow at the bottom of that mountain face, eh?
Maybe that's where they were.
Yeah, that could be the whole story. Like when the biologist goes into that area next year, whatever, for a survey, they might find a whole pile of them at the bottom of those avalanche runouts. But yeah, that the avalanche, the Avcan stuff went from a 2 to a 3 that day in the Alpine. And we were looking at the Alpine. There was like a wind slab at the top of that mountain that was like, well, it's hard to say from as far away as we were, but I don't know. It was probably a good 10, 12 feet tall. It
was pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, it was funny when we were digging your sled out there on the way up that trail. I was like, hey, look at this. And I was like showing you guys, like, there's like, you could like see the persistent weak layers in the snowpack that we were just riding in on. And it's like, it was pretty wild. Like, cause you take that course and stuff and you look at it and then you like go out in the wild hunting and you start looking at the snow and you're like, yeah, I can see what they mean. And then like, man, it's dangerous. Like it in some of those conditions, like I could see you getting in trouble just really easy. Hey,
you don't know you're in it till you're in it. Right.
Well, that's just it.
That's, it wouldn't be a fun situation, that's for sure.
No, and like one of the things they teach in Avalanche Safety 1 is like to listen for that whooping sound when you're like snowshoeing or cross country skiing, right? And like you don't hear it on a sled, but what it is that one of the weak layers in the snow can compress under your body weight and it'll trigger an avalanche, right? And when we were on flat ground on that trail there that day walking around, it was like every step you took, it was like whoop, whoop, whoop the whole way. And it's just like, it was a bad situation. And it's like, it was pretty clear, I think, to all of us, like, hey, we're not going into the Southern Valley because we're not going to come out of it if we do.
Unless the goat come right down into the bottom of it, into the trees for us. I don't know what was going to happen there.
Yeah, right.
try our goat calling, but I don't know how that.
Do they come to a bugle or do you have to cow call them? What do you do?
I don't know. I've never really talked to them before, but I certainly know what they sound like. They're very vocal. Like
Are they?
Some of the, oh man, you get a herd of nannies and kids, and they're constantly squealing.
Is that true? Are you pulling my leg? Is that
no? So go on my Instagram and look at a few of them videos. You'll see.
I'm going to. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's one right at the very top of a nanny and 2 kids, and the 2 kids are feeding. Turn up your volume on that one.
I will. I always have my phone on silent because I have so many freaking kids.
Oh, it's pretty comical. Some of the noises they make.
Oh no way! They do like grunts and stuff, eh?
Yeah. So I've never been, like, used it while hunting and trying to stalk or lure one in. But if it ever come to it, and I needed like anything, let out a couple little belts and see what happens. But I've thrown rocks down the mountain to get goats' attention before.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But never actually tried to talk to them. But since the game camera stuff, and I can understand what they sound like now, I know what to try to mimic, right?
Dude, this video at the top of your Instagram of this goat, what is that? Is that a Billy? No, that's a nanny.
I don't know. I don't know if I can close this app without losing you guys.
No, I'm talking about the video that you posted from our hunt.
I don't think I posted one.
No?
On Ed's Instagram?
Yeah.
The very first video?
Second video. The first video.
Oh no, that's from a few years ago.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
that goat I watched 3 winters in a row and I could never get to him.
I was just gonna say,
nice Billy.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like,
we would have been going after him.
I'm like, Ed, you've been withholding some information. What the hell is going on here?
No, that's my dream goat right there.
Yeah, that guy's deadly. Yeah, no kidding. But like, I think, I think this is a slippery slope in a lot of ways. Like when you start looking at goats and you start being critical of goats and like deciding not to go after goats that are legal, which I think is obviously a personal choice. Right. But like, I think like, deciding, oh yeah, I want to shoot a mature mature Billy, like just a good representation of the species, I think it can be a real slippery slope where you get the Ed Thompson thing going where you're just like looking at freaking giant Billies like that year after year. And it's like, that's what you're after, right?
Well, it's kind of like the sheep hunting, right? They always say you're trying to do better than your last one. And let's face it, goat hunting, you're not in it for the meat. And I don't know. It's just, it wouldn't be fun if you killed one every year. For me personally, I like to go up there. If someone else kills one, that's fine. I like to just go along for the ride, but I'm in it for a particular goat personally. Yeah. Just like everybody has their animal. Hey.
Yeah. I think I'm in the same boat with goats. Like, I think I kind of want to only shoot the big old Billy that's done his breeding and leave room for the young guys to keep going. Eh?
Yeah. And getting up there, and especially if you can spend a few days or a week up in the Alpine, especially in August, September, when the weather's a bit better. Yeah. Sometimes just the trip in itself is worth it, right? It's a totally different kind of hunt you're experiencing.
Yeah. I mean, that country that we were in August, it's like, it's super nice. Like you could
it'd be gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful up there. That's cool. Yeah. So Tuesday we had, hour or so of glass, and Anthony and Brandon, you guys had glass on that. I think you guys were probably over on Cock Rock trying to locate those two adults, right?
The second day. Yeah.
Yeah. These guys were on Cock Rock. And then we were over on this south face, basically looking at a wall of death, right up until the fog rolled in and did not take off the rest of the day. So with some convincing, we got Anthony to start heading up the mountain with us on the...
I don't think I was the one that needed convincing.
Oh, was it Brandon?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, I was pretty gung ho, man. Like it was an absolute blast.
I remember. I think on day one, I can't. Was it you, Anthony, or was it Brandon? We were like, you'll see. We'll see if I go up the mountain or not.
Well, so going into this hunt, like, I was kind of a late addition, right? Like, yeah. I knew you and Brandon had been chatting for quite a while, and I've been chatting to Brandon about it and, bouncing ideas off each other. And yeah. And, even about 2 weeks leading up to it, I was kind of like, you know what, man, like, I don't know if I really want to go up there, with avalanche risk and all that stuff. And
which is quite honestly completely fair. Like,
yeah. And just not, this is my first winter goat hunt, right? So not experienced with that. But I was kind of like, I'm just going to sit back the sleds. I'll happily glass and send you guys a message, let you know, kind of thing.
Hot cocoa.
And it's like, yeah, cocoa, and, warm food, bear sausage. It was great. Right. Yeah. And, but once I got out there, man, it was full go. I was all in. It's like, let's get up there. And there's no convincing for me. I was having a blast.
Okay, so it was Brandon then at the end of day 2 where I was like, come on, bro, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, there was a little bit of reluctantness there. Just because it was like snowing, you couldn't see dick all. And let's go up. I'm like, to see what?
Brandon,
you're not going to see anything.
We're all dying together. That's the way this works.
Yeah. No. And then, we just had some food. And after that, I was good to go. And then went like 20 yards into the bush. I was good.
Also, who brings a coil of garlic sausage hunting? The whole thing. Not just like a little bit. This dude busts out a freaking charcuterie platter on the side of a mountain. I'm like, who is this guy?
It's black bear garlic sausage, man.
I think that was Tommy's favorite part of the trip.
Love Brandon sausage.
Okay. Yeah, I should have sent you guys home with some or something. Feed it to the kids or let the wife try it and stuff too, or just hoard it for yourself. But
I should have had this queued up. I really messed that up.
That would have been a good one to get people started on bear sausage. That's for sure. Cause it was delicious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. A buddy of mine had it and shared it with me a couple of years back. So when I finally decided to not do a bear myself this year, I had it made, and yeah, it was definitely well worth it.
Nice. That's wicked. So yeah, we on the end of that day there, we kind of cruised up and just kind of tried to get up to Cockrock and see what we could come up with up there. And weather was just kind of not participating. So we basically did that till dark and then backed out, got the hell out of there. And we kind of had a bit of a chat with the boss there, with Ed, about what he thought the best thing to do was. And we kind of all agreed, like on this next day, like, we're gonna be running out of weather here. Our weather window is kind of gonna disappear. So we wanted to quickly check the faces that we had seen goats on and see if there had been any new additions. And if there hadn't, we were gonna make a kind of a hard push to this one cliff band that we thought might open up some new country to see some faces that we weren't able to see from where we were before, right? And so basically we saw nothing new and we just let her rip that day.
I don't think we saw a single goat.
Yeah, I don't think we saw anything. No. It was like that was the day that we had like the super gnarly cold snap, hey?
The crisp -25.
I think
your truck was like -29, Anthony, or like 28.
It might have been. Cold.
Yeah,
it was cold.
Real cold. Yeah, it was.
Well, and that was before daylight too. It got colder after that even.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. Like I think a lot of people said that it was uncharacteristically cold for that time of year, eh?
No, not really.
No,
it comes and it goes, you know.
Sure. Yeah, there's usually normal. Like 2 weeks in January and 2 weeks in February that are like -30.
Oh yeah. Well,
kind of thing.
It's nonsense.
Great. Glad
I've had it in the pluses before too at the end of February. When the snow is just garbage, then
it was like the Wednesday, Thursday that week before you guys showed up. It was +2-3 during the days.
I think that was part of the issue too, is like the super gnarly weather changes we had the kind of the 2 weeks leading up to this. Like we got back there and just like everything was unstable or frozen, like one or the other, you know? It was like, but I mean, it made easy going in the snow. Like when we had the snowshoes on and we were cruising, like those were nice conditions.
Yeah, we clipped along pretty good. Like Ed was saying to me too, like it's probably easier doing that than trying to go in the summer and go over all the deadfall and crap like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, we were, it was easy going on the way up. And like, that's one thing I always find about snowshoeing or working in ice or something like that. I mean, you have a little bit more of a like immediate fall hazard, because if you slip, you're going down a little ways until you can stop yourself. But like, the amount of traction that you get for lift going up is super nice compared to when you're trying to get up the side of one of those things in the mud and crap, right?
And plus the heel clickers on the snowshoes, it's like you're going up a set of stairs rather than a hillside as well. That makes a world of difference for my ankles.
Oh yeah.
With the snowshoes, even versus summertime when you're going up like with your toes, having them heel clickers on them and blasting over all the willows and devil's clubs, and it's it goes good.
Yeah, it's pretty easy going. It was I remember Anthony was in front of me for a bit there and I was like, Anthony, flip these up. You're like, they make a difference? I'm like, yeah, dude, flip them up.
Oh yeah, it was night and day, man. It was awesome. I forgot I even had them on there.
Yeah, no, they're rad. They make a big difference. I use my snowshoes quite a bit when we're out down in elk country in the winter. They're cruising around, checking stuff out, doing batteries and stuff like that on cameras. And no, they make a big difference when you flip them up. So we were going up the mountain there and everybody had a good sweat on, and then we stopped and my feet about froze off, which was a good comedic, I don't know, hour and a bit of the middle of the day to get a fire going and get me thawed out a bit there.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was great. Other than my feet freezing about off. Yeah. So I think basically what happened is, my feet had warmed up pretty good and I had a little bit of sweat going on, from, sledding that morning and then hiking around a little bit and then stopping. And, when we were at the bottom of the mountain, I was saying to Ed, my feet are cold. And so I think I actually put, not hot hands, but like those chemical heat packs for insoles. I think I put them under my toes there. And I think I can't remember if I changed my sock or not, but by the time we were, a few K up the mountain there, my feet were just done. Right. And so Ed was like, I think it was Ed. You were like, let's just get, or maybe it was Anthony. I can't remember whose idea it was, but you were just like, well, you need to get them warmed up and figure this out, right? We can't be getting further away from safety if your feet are icicles, right? And then that's when I pulled my foot out of my boot and we all realized my sock was frozen fucking solid.
Yeah.
I think it was Ed. I think Ed, all you said, you're like, that's going to tingle when it thaws out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All you guys said your feet were kind of had the tingling feeling going on, or not all you, but you were saying, and that's the worst. It's like a cramp almost, it's something that you can't get to go away sometimes. Yeah. Especially when it's thawing out, it's going to hurt.
Yeah. And I think Tommy is just too tough because, I was sitting around the fire, like literally defrosting my feet, like melting the ice off my socks so I could take them off. And, you were just chilling in your boots. And then later we find out you freaking froze your toe damn near off, eh?
Yeah, it's a little still numb, but I think it'll be all right.
so we're about what's the date today? It's March 3rd. We were up there on the 18th. So yeah, we're 2 weeks out and you still can't feel your toe, bro.
Yeah, it's still kind of black and purple too. So I don't know.
I don't think that's coming back.
It might not. I've accepted that.
Is the toenail still there?
Toenail's good, yeah.
Yeah.
So I sound like I showed a doctor friend a photo of Tommy's toe there, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's frostbite." Yeah. So, what's that saying? If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
Yeah,
right.
So I think Tommy, you checked that box, bro.
I still think it might be from bashing my toes into the boot.
I remember you saying that your toenail was getting to you coming down there.
Well, I was thinking because my toes were so cold, I couldn't feel them coming down. And I was thinking maybe that my toes were bashing into the boot, but I don't know, one or the other.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd still be purple 2 weeks later, though, would they?
Yeah, maybe not.
That's a pretty long bruise.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, I mean, like when my like, I don't want to say I'm a pussy, but like I one of the things I've learned from elk hunting, because I put so many miles on, in an elk season, right? Like, and it's like, I kind of think of myself like a freaking non-turbo diesel truck, I just chip along at whatever pace is comfortable, and I'll just do that all hunting season, and like I can go for a long time, but not fast, right? Yeah. And one thing I find with my feet is whenever my feet hurt, I just stop and deal with my feet. That's like if that means taping up my toes or getting the moleskin going or getting a dry sock or whatever it means. Right. And it's just like, I find it gives me the longevity. So that's like why when I was like, my feet are messed up here. Right. And I was like, I think what happened is we were going through a big clearing and like kind of sneaking through the bottom of what looked like an avalanche chute on the way up there. We were, I was talking to Anthony and he's like, oh yeah, let's stop and check them out. We'll have a fire. And I was like, let's just get through this and get over this plateau here. And then we'll see how I'm doing. Like maybe they'll warm up some, right? Because we were like starting to get into some pretty steep terrain there. And then we got to that next flat and I was like, no, I gotta check on my feet. Like I'm going to be in rough shape here. And I know my shit was frozen solid. So I imagine you were probably pretty cold there too, Tommy, if the way your toe looks now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I couldn't feel them at the time. So that might be part of it.
I don't know. And that's like, I think that's like, maybe a bit of an experience thing. Like Ed, maybe chime in here too. Like kind of when you start to get into some actual pain of like your main mode of transport, I feel like that's a good time to not be tough and see what's going on. Right.
Well, yeah, especially when you're still going away from your mode of transportation, right? Where we're still going up the mountain. And if you're running into problems, you really got to, stop and think twice, and decide if it's worth it. Like in our case, we could build a fire and got everything warmed up and it ended up okay. But unless you stop and fix them problems, I don't know. You just have to be aware, right? If your feet are really bothering you, you best go back and change something before trying it again. Yeah, and that's definitely the proper footwear, right? Like I use winter mountaineering boots, and my feet were definitely cold. I didn't come out with black toes or anything like that, but they were uncomfortable, but they were tolerable, right? Mm-hmm. But definitely the winter gear, because in the -5, -10, you can get away with lots of summer gear, and be fine. But say you're a day or two back there and it does dip down to -25, then what are you going to do, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I think when we go back out here, I think I'll be running the one of them double boots or something like that. If the -20 or sub -15 is on the horizon at all, I think I'll be buying one of those double boots, or even those like those Scarpas that have kind of the zipper liner that goes over them, right?
Yeah, those are nice. I almost went with that model when I got mine, but the guy that I work with actually uses them, and he sure likes them.
Yeah, I think that boot that you have, quite honestly, is a lot more versatile than those double boots.
Yeah, a lot of guys use the ones I have in the summertime as well.
Yeah,
Blancs, I think they're called.
Yeah,
and but yeah, I find them a little bit warm for me in the summer because I do sweat a little bit. Yeah, but in the winter, they I haven't had them in the -25. That was the coldest I've actually worn these ones. And with the liner sock and a thicker smart wool, like it was tolerable. I didn't have any issues, but -30, -35 would probably be a different story.
Yeah. This is your first year running a liner sock, right?
Yeah, it is. A friend there had recommended them because I was starting to get blisters on my baby toes and just kind of lived with it, and I'd tape them up and be fine. And he said, yeah, try one of those Wingham liner socks. So I threw them on and they made a world of difference. I didn't get any blisters, and that might have helped with some of the warmth too, because I didn't get any dampness in my feet at all. Yeah. And like normally I do run a pretty warm foot anyway, but I really like them. I'll be using them.
So in years past, I've like absolutely refused to do any like home foot care, like, get rid of dead skin, whatever. Like I just had big, nasty, calloused, disgusting feet that were just beat to hell from hiking. And like my wife would always be like, clean those up, like they'll feel better. And I would just never do it because I'd always just jam them into like a whatever merino sock and jam them into my boot and then go hike 1,000,000 miles. Right. And they'd hold up. And then last year I started running a liner sock. So I started, taking better care of my feet and stuff like that. And what a world of difference that liner sock makes, eh? You're so much more comfortable. And I mean, I don't think I've had a blister or a hot spot or anything since, eh?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know why I went so many years without trying one, honestly.
Yeah.
I've double socked lots with like a thin sock and then a thick sock. And it's not the same.
No,
it's a different feeling totally.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. So yeah, when we sat down at the fire there, I pulled one of my feet out of my boot, and I was kind of like, ugh, like just like there's literally ice on my socks, like visible ice, right? And
your whole tongue was white.
Yeah,
the tongue of your sock.
Yeah, and so these guys got a fire going, and I had my. I had to warm up my jet boil canister there, my fuel canister, so I could get my jet boil running. So I boiled some water and put it in an algae, and I was trying to dry my boots out and do all the things at once. And like, I was kind of, for a bit there, I was feeling not very good with my feet near the fire there, thawing them out. It was pretty painful. And Brandon looks at me there and he's like, "Don't weaken." I was like, "You son of a bitch." And like on my bino harness, I have a Velcro patch on there that says "Don't weaken" on it, but I peeled that bastard off and threw it straight in the fire. You should have seen Brandon's face. I was like, "I weakened, fuck."
Dude, I was like, I couldn't believe you actually did that. I was like, what are you doing? That patch was sweet. Yeah, I liked it.
I know. I'll have to. I'll get another one. But still, I think it was worth the $12 for the joke.
I think you owe Brandon one now too.
Yeah, that's fair.
For putting him through that, yeah.
Yeah, the traumatic experience. He's gonna have PTSD every time he sees a Velcro patch.
That's like a mulligan. That's a mulligan patch. Your next one will be the right one.
Yeah, well, maybe like on the next one, I should put like, "Don't weaken unless your feet are frozen."
Yeah.
Like don't weaken unless you're gonna lose a foot.
And we got recouped and kept going, so I don't think you weakened like completely. If you went back to the sleds, then maybe like consider a full weekend.
Yeah, I got a lot harder after that.
Yeah, but like that being said, though, like I probably like I think like that situation though is like one of those situations that like if you're paying attention to what's going on, like you would stop and check out your feet, because like there's a lot of situations where like if you were close to a goat or something, you would just keep pushing there and like literally freeze your feet off, right?
Yeah,
totally.
You know what I mean? So I think that's like it was kind of a good reminder to be aware of where you're at, like, you know, just kind of
to be smart.
yeah, because it's like easy to be stupid, you know, like chasing elk and stuff like that. I have definitely like been way out of water and been heading over another ridge to chase a bull that like you need to stop and get water, idiot, you know. And it's like that's not, I don't think, as dire of a situation as like your feet literally being in a freezer.
Yeah. And the same with goes to your hands too, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's if your hands go cold and you can't light a fire, then you know, it's the same idea. There's a lot of things that can go wrong.
It's pretty funny when you guys are building that fire, me and Brandon are sitting there and I'm trying to get my jet boil lit, which is a whole nother story. Like those things don't work in that cold of weather, eh?
Nope.
But I'm like Anthony and Ed are just going to town on getting wood, and Brandon's like, "How much wood are these fucking guys getting? Are we having a bonfire?"
It sounded like an emergency, so we were
I think that probably like if that was probably an hour later, it probably would have been an emergency.
Yeah. No, I could see it in your face. You were in some pain there.
No, it sucked. Yeah.
And best we get a fire going now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't normally I don't normally hold up the group. That was unusual for me, right? Like I would have felt a lot better if Tommy was like, "Hey, my feet are purple," and I was like, "I better warm up too, eh?" Like, but Tommy proved to be the tough, stubborn one on this trip, huh?
Yeah, it just shows the difference between like summer and fall hunting compared to winter hunting. Like,
oh yeah,
just little things.
Oh yeah, I'd be walking around with fake feet right now if I wasn't paying attention. Also, what the hell? Tommy straps on snowshoes and just turns into a freaking animal on a sled. He's like slowpoke. You get him on the snowshoes, he rips up the mountain. What the hell?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
He was saying to me for a month leading up to this time. He's like, "Oh, I hope I don't hold you guys up." I'm like, "You're not going to hold us up. Like, we're freaking climbing a mountain in snowshoes. We'll be like, you'll be fine. Like, we're not going to be going fast, right?" Next thing you know, he's like checking in with me. He's like, "Hey, you okay back there?" I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on right now?
That little extra inseam.
Yeah, dude. That's not fair, man.
No, man, it's not.
Yeah, I think me and Anthony are the only guys under 6 feet tall on this hunt, right?
Yeah.
It's complete bullshit.
I need every advantage I can get, though.
Well, like, anyways, we warm back up, we get dried out. I freaking drop down all the way to just like a regular sock to keep my feet from getting wet and sweating. And we keep ripping up the mountain and we kind of get up as high as we can and we sort of run out of light. Right. And we basically just like got to the point where it's like, we're either coming down in the dark and there was some steeper sections or we were going to, go back then. Right. So we were like, okay, well, this is kind of as far as we're going to be able to get right now. Let's drop down. And then I think me and Anthony were I don't know. I think me, Anthony and Brandon were in the back of the pack on the way down.
Yeah.
But there was some of those like kind of shelves that we had to get down that I'm like, man, these shelves are longer than my leg. Like, how am I going to get down that? And then Brad's like, just jump, bro. I'm like, dude, if you jump, you'll just die. What are you talking about? Just jump.
No, you'd be fine.
Oh, it was funny. Like I have a video that I took that I don't think I'll post because it's just stupid, right? But it's like,
share it with us at least.
Oh yeah, no, I'll send it in our group chat. But like I like screwed up my footing on one of those shelves and I landed on my ass and like I was just like only using snowshoes to hit the brakes the rest of the way down, and then like I pop up, stand up, and Tommy just fist bumps me. I'm like, fuck, like that wasn't fun.
Yeah, bro.
Oh man. Did you guys have any gear failures? Anybody?
No,
don't think so.
Yeah, no.
The jet oil doesn't work in -20.
Jet oil though. I'm going to be switching that up for my winter gear. Definitely, I think I'll be looking at different options than the jet oil. I think.
What are you thinking? You know, white gas maybe?
I think so. You know, I always thought white gas was kind of a pain in the butt, but for the little bit that I'll actually use it in the winter, I might go that route.
Yeah, I mean, I think the white gas stuff isn't that bad, and I think some of the modern white gas stoves light pretty consistently, eh?
Yeah, I've never been around one. That's the only. I've never had one in my hand, honestly. So I have to look into them more. But from everything I hear, that they work pretty good in all that cold weather. So.
Yeah, I can't remember the particular one, but there's one that it like works as a multi-fuel stove. I don't think all of them do, but there's one particular MSR one that like you can run gasoline in or diesel or whatever.
Yeah, that's what my old boss had. He was a guide, and that's what he ran like year round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's they're because you can completely drain the fuel out of them, so you can fly fly commercially with them too, eh?
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty neat, but they have like you just have to kind of learn how to run them because there's like a pisser and stuff on them to get the flame going, right?
Oh, okay.
and you don't want to blow yourself up on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think really the only major gear thing that I would change on this thing was, I think as Barklow recommended, I would run a double boot. For sure. Just some kind of boot that like is super warm, but also crampon and snowshoe compatible. So you can still do the technical stuff, but your feet aren't going to break off your ankles.
Yeah.
And then for me, the other thing was when we were on the sleds that in that like -20, -29 weather, like freaking
gloves,
like, yeah, like fucking giant mitts of some kind. I don't know what.
Heated handlebars
would be good too.
What's that? Yeah, balaclava.
What kind of nose cover?
Oh yeah,
heated handlebars and the big windshield make a big difference.
Yeah.
Having the right sled. Yeah,
having the right sled would be good. But like, man, that cold air rushing up my nose on the sleds the few days there, like when I got back home, like after about a day of hacking up blood, I was just hacking up the lime green shit from my sinuses. Like I wasn't even sick or anything. I just had like some wild sinus infection that wouldn't go away. And then it switched back to hacking up blood, I guess, just from being so dry, eh?
Huh. I didn't experience any of it.
Yeah, but you're like a northern BC person that's you know, I came like I'm wearing shorts right now, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Ed's like, oh, I don't own shorts.
I do, but I don't wear them.
Oh, there you go. That's fair. What about you guys? Let's go around the room here. Maybe Anthony, what was your big takeaway from this experience?
Oh, so much to learn, man. It was a ton of fun. I was, real thankful that I was invited along on it. Getting to share camp with you guys there for a few days was a great experience. Just watching goats and, that first day, basically we had glass on them for 8-9 hours and just watching them throughout the whole day and what they do. And, the kind of the ones that are bedded off far to the right there, those 3 that ended up being nannies, like, for me, that was just where they were was kind of a good spot to really get a good look at them. Like they gave us some good looks at their horns and the snow and stuff. And this winter goat hunting thing's not easy for sure. It's not to be taken lightly. But with a good group of guys, it's a ton of fun for sure, man.
Yeah,
definitely look forward to, one day planning something like that again.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, let her rip.
Yeah, man. Kind of the same thing as Anthony said, like just learning as much as I possibly can. And like being there with Ed was a huge deal because you can be sitting there going, oh, I think that's a nanny or it's a Billy and da-da-da. Then you just ask Ed and he tells you that you're wrong. And it's actually this.
Yeah.
So just learning as much as I can. It's like this year is my first year goat hunting. I did my first trip in August and saw my first goat for the first time in that trip. And I've been hooked ever since. So the more I can get out, the better. And this was a great experience because a lot of other guys kind of on the same ball field as me, and then Ed there teaching us all. And just seeing goats. Like every time I see a goat, I just get so freaking excited.
Oh yeah.
And like just so jacked. And in the winter, like their fur is so long, they stand up and they shake and all that snow comes flying off them. It's just unreal. So I just love goats, love hunting, and to go out with some guys that I've never even met before. Like I met Ed like a couple weeks before I started a new job in October, met Anthony. So I've only known him for like 4 months. And then meeting you two guys the day before we left, like it was pretty sweet. It worked out really well. And
yeah,
it was just good.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, like, I think I said on this hunt, like, it's pretty cool the people that you can meet through hunting, and just like have an awesome time with, and like you know, there's obviously exceptions to that rule inside of any space, but like there's a lot of good folks inside of hunting, and like you can have some really great experiences with like-minded people pretty easily, eh?
100%. You just got to find them.
Yeah. Tommy, what about you? What's your big takeaway from this trip, bro?
Oh man, like so many firsts for me, right? Like first mountain hunt, first winter hunt, first time on sleds, first time seeing goats, first time on snowshoes. Like just learned so much. You know, having guys like you and Ed there and Anthony and Brandon was like such a good experience. So thankful I was able to come along, and it just got me so pumped up to get back out there next time, right? Like figuring out all my gear, my systems, still kind of figuring that out, but yeah, it was great. Very cool.
It's awesome. Anything you would change on that trip? I heard somebody laugh there. I'm like, this is me leading the witness a bit.
No, I don't think anything I've changed like big time, right? Like,
bro, it's your toe. It's your toe.
Well, it's your toe. That's a memory, man. That's a souvenir.
I don't know, man. My toes not that bad.
I take a mold of it now.
Yeah, I guess if it's numb forever, like that'll make me stronger on next time, right? Like if I can't feel anything,
bro, I think you need to see a doctor. Should I make that in the thumbnail for this podcast? Just Tommy's toe.
Gross. No one wants to see that.
Hold on, I have it saved here. I think
bringing a puffy jacket would be good too.
Okay, that was my fault. Yeah. Okay, so we're on the way up, right? And like, I have all this fucking wild gear that is like $1 gazillion from Barklow, right? And we're like running. Me and Tommy are talking gear on the way up, and he says something about
what was that?
I can't remember.
You were thinking about what you were going to wear when we got into town.
Right. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to have to change my jacket when we get to town. I'll put on my Lost parka. And I was like, oh shit. Like I left the Lost parka that I was lending Tommy in my office, like beside all the stuff we were going to take. And I looked at Tommy and I was like, bro, I forgot your parka. Like you don't have a puffy, because I was lending up my puffy for this trip, right? And so we get on the blower. I call Ed. I'm like, hey, you got a puffy? You're like, yeah, but it's a medium. And Tommy's an XL. I'm like, shit, okay. We call Brandon, and Brandon's like, Anthony will have one. And so Anthony had a spare. Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah,
but that could have been bad.
I think I had about 6 layers on. It was it worked out.
6 layers.
Yep.
Holy shamoly.
The puffies were it's like thin puffies, right?
What's that?
Yeah. That puffy jacket that I lent you was not it's not quite like a Lost Park parka. It's definitely a little lighter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was good though. But yeah.
That's awesome. What about you, Ed? Did you learn anything about going out with 4 schmucks or what?
Oh no, I knew what it was going to be like. You know, I'm not saying it was bad. It was great. I had a blast, and the biggest thing I had a blast with was being able to teach a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the look in your guys' eyes when you're seeing goats up on the hill there and shooting the questions, and you know, everybody's batting ideas around about why it's a Billy, why it's a Nanny, or why you think it's, you know, and it's just a good experience. And there wasn't one bit of anything but a good experience for everybody. You know, everybody was on the same page with everything, and went off without a hitch, except the goat in the bag is all. But that's really just icing on the cake, right?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No problem. No problem. I was just going to say I had a really good time for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was just going to say, like, a lot of people have just sent me a message that just said, no goat, ? And I was like, no, like, I don't think I would measure a trip like this, the success, by having a goat in the truck on the way home. You know, like I think just going out there and hiking around and climbing mountains and seeing goats, I mean, that's a win for me. Like I would be happy to go on that exact same hunt again with that exact same result with the exact same crew of guys. You know, I'd do that every weekend if I could.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. August 1st, someone's just got to draw that tag again.
Yeah. Well, I think there's reduced odds on goats, right? Like after you draw, I think you're on reduced odds for 2 years. Is it? I don't know.
That's what they say, but I've had goat draws for 3-4 years in a row before, and well, like not hard odds at all, but yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully one of us draws it, and then we'll go back in there all together. That'd be fun.
That'd be sick.
There's really a lot of bugs in August, though. I don't know.
You know, I didn't have that many. Well, we were there late August, like leading into September, and there wasn't too many bugs there.
No.
I think once you're like on top, and there's like a little bit of a breeze, it's not too bad.
Yeah, even the rut in there would be pretty fun, I bet, eh?
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Get in there and see some action.
I honestly think if I drew that tag again, I would probably just dedicate my season to doing 2 or 3 or 4 trips back in there, eh?
Yeah. Start paintballing each one so you can name them and figure out which one's the best. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I would go full Ed Thompson. I would probably climb up there with some T-posts and set some cameras up and do a little circuit and
definitely
drop some salt in July.
I give you some tips there.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Is there anybody else that runs goat cameras, or are you the only guy on earth that's that crazy?
No. There's a few other guys around. I think there's a couple guys in BC here, and there's another fella. Oh, he's in the United States. I can't remember exactly what place he's in, but he gets some pretty wild footage. Mr. Karash, I can't get your first name on my mind right now, but yeah, there's a few of us around. Not many though.
Yeah, they're pretty wild. I mean, like I think that's like how I started following you. I was like, man, this guy's got trail cam photos of goats. What the hell?
Yeah, it's a pretty unique herd that I get to follow here. You know, it's not easy to get to by any means, but it's certainly a lot easier than a lot of places. And it's a closed. There's no goat season there, so they don't get hunted at all. So no pressure. Hey, and it's pretty easy to throw some cameras up and get some pictures and.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you get the workout all summer, right? Everybody likes to train a little bit. And why not throw on the backpack and go check some goat cameras?
Yeah, no kidding. That's awesome. Yeah. So, any other takeaways, boys, before we close up shop here? I think it's everybody's bedtime, right?
Oh, past, man.
Yeah.
So we're like
5 a.m. comes early.
Oh yeah.
I just kind of wanted to say thanks to Ed too, right? You know, he mentioned there seeing, getting to watch us learn and stuff. And, I've kind of always been pretty tight group of guys who I've always hunted with. It's, mostly just family with the odd buddy here and there. And when I moved back out to where I am now, it's, really wanted to get into that mountain hunting. And it was kind of like, well, I've gone through it my whole life with not having that group of people to really mentor you. Right. And, kind of stepping into that world here the last few years. It's, I'm really appreciative of guys like Ed and, who are willing to share that with guys, right? Yeah. Like you're not giving out spots, but something like this where Ed can come along and teach us as much as he did there in just a few short days. It's pretty awesome.
100%.
I appreciate that any time. And, especially it was easy for me too. Like I didn't meeting you guys. You're only 2 hours down the road here from me. So
yeah.
Heck, anytime we can go out and go take the family and go spot goats for a day or two.
Oh, definitely.
It's going to be good. For sure. And like you were saying, I've always hunted with my girlfriend or with family. I've never really, my old goat partner, he moved away years ago and we're still great friends, but he doesn't get out as much as normal. And so to get out with you guys, this is the first time I've hunted with anybody. Oh, heck, 20 years probably.
I thought maybe you were why you moved away, Ed.
Well, it could be. No, it was a girl. He got married, had kids, and no, the power to him. He did the right thing, and he keeps talking about getting back into it, and I'll get him into it again someday. But with him, family's priority, right?
What a sucker.
Yeah.
I was just kidding. Yeah, no, all of us are dads on here, so we had to make sure we didn't die on this trip, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, and had to get the families organized too, right? That's a big job in itself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I heard about it.
I know the wife, every time I go on a trip like this or go plan to hike a mountain, she's just like, why? She just shakes her head like she just doesn't understand yet. But
oh yeah.
So, what are you doing? It's like, I'll be back. I promise.
I hope.
I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, same here though. Ed, I really appreciate you coming along, and Brandon, Anthony, Tommy, thanks for coming too and helping me out there on my tag. And yeah, no, it was great. I learned a ton from you, Ed. It was awesome.
Yeah, you bet. No
problem, thanks for having us, Ty.
Yeah, absolutely. Does everybody want to give out social medias and people can find you if you want them to? Up to you guys.
I'm easy. I'm mountain_addictions, I believe. Yeah, lots of goat content. That's about all these days. Yeah. A little bit of stock work on the side.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. Brandon, you have an Instagram there, and you have a YouTube channel too, don't you?
Yeah, just very amateur, just starting YouTube channel.
I like it.
Yeah, so my Instagram is brandon.roth, ROTH, not Ross. It is ROTH. .h&h.bc. That's Instagram. And then YouTube's just Hunt and Harvest BC. Got like our first goat hunt up there and a couple other different videos, some spring bear from last year on there as well, actually. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anthony, you want to fire yours up, or it's okay if you don't? It's up to you.
Oh yeah, sure. No, mine's just my name, Anthony Klubi, on Instagram. Most of mine's just pretty much pictures of me and my kids in the outdoors, man.
That's cool.
I try to spend as much time out there as I can. I tend to feel guilty when I go out hunting without them because they let me know it. So
that's a good thing though, man.
Lots of me and the kids in the outdoors. So
I like it. And then Tommy, yours is private, eh? It's all just photos, like full body nudes on there. So
you know it. No one wants to see that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay,
black toe.
What's that? Yeah, just photos of the black toe. You know what I'm going to do? I'm posting the black toe in my story right now.
I haven't seen this picture yet.
I want to see it. Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's surprisingly bad. It's like, it's bad in the way that when you look at it, you're like, is that a bruise? No, that's not a bruise. That's frostbite.
Well, if it falls off, you can just use it like they do up in Dawson City and just throw it in your whiskey.
Right? Yeah. A little 40 creek and some toe.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, hang on. My internet's really slow right now, but I'm gonna put a poll up on my Instagram. I'm gonna say under green frostbite, and then or nah. There you go.
You're gonna put it on your story?
Yeah, I'll tag you guys in it. There you go.
I don't think it's changed since I sent you that picture. Like, there's no
change. If it hasn't changed since this photo like a week ago, then that's frostbite, bro. Like,
I don't know. Some bruises kind of hang around. No.
No, not for fucking 20 days. What are you talking about? Am I wrong? Yeah. Like,
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a deep bruise. It's a deep one.
Well, how deep can it be? It's actually, it's not that bad. No. But it's like, fine. It's clearly, okay, I just tagged you guys. I think it's
yeah, I'm waiting for this picture here.
Okay. Yeah. I want this part on the podcast because it'll be funny.
Well, I don't know. Can I close this page without losing you guys?
Yeah, I think.
Not sure.
Are you?
Oh, dude, that's not that bad.
No, it's not.
No, it's not that. It's not that bad. But that's freaking.
Is it like a blood blister on the end, or is it just a bruise?
It's like 2 weeks old though. Right? Like it's.
It's just a tip. It's fine.
Poke a needle in it.
Yeah, poke a needle in it. See if it
just
explodes.
Poke stuff. See what happens. Yeah.
Do it on the podcast. Go get a needle. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll do a live story on your page.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but I think it's definitely not to bruise if it's still hanging around.
I'd give it another week. If it doesn't change, maybe start poking it.
All right.
What do you?
I'll keep you guys posted.
What's the purpose of poking it, though?
See what happens. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, yeah, if you can't feel it and it's it probably won't fall off. So just start poking it with shit. You got a Havalon there or what?
Start poking it.
Sorry?
You got like a Havalon or a Taito blade or something? Like,
oh yeah, I'll find something to poke it with.
Bust out the kill kit. Take that right off.
Yeah, just the tip.
Now's the time to get the callus off it.
Right?
Oh man. Okay, boys. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
You bet, you guys, for sure.
That was a quick hour and 30-minute podcast, eh?
Beauty.
Not too bad.
Any final thoughts before we sign off? Or that's it. We're done.
Go join the Rocky Mountain Goat Alliance.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, and sheep show's coming up here in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm winning a pronghorn hunt next weekend.
Hey.
I heard Ed's gonna win. That's right. Yeah. So there you go. Join our MGA, join Wild Sheep Society, BC. There you go.
You betcha.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram @WildernessLocals. If you want to support the podcast, please check out the gear, articles, and whatever else we're up to on the website at www.wildernesslocals.net.